Stop going to work doing inappropriate things.
He told me how would I feel about getting my body done. He would pay for it. And if we didn't work out, I would have to pay him back. I have 2 kids and I should just be grateful because my pickings are slim.
Why don't you start dating good men?
Because a man who likes you is going to do this for you. He's going to want you to be a boss babe in your own right.
Almost every night, there's a nurse being caught sleeping with a doctor. And if your wife wear the tightest scrub she can find on the rack every night to work, she's definitely cheating with a doctor.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get all my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
I just came back from the worst date ever. I went on a date with a very rich man. He owned a lot of property, a lot of buildings, a lot of everything. So I went on a date with him. He was horrible. He basically told me how would I feel about getting my body done. He would pay for it. And if we didn't work out, I would have to pay him back. So I was already self-conscious to eat after that. Then he told me that men age better than women. So I'm pretty now, but I won't be forever. He told me that I was damaged because I have 2 kids. And even though he has 2 kids, it's okay because he's a man. I have 2 kids and I should just be grateful because my pickings are slim. And even if that was factual, I just don't think it was tasteful. Then he told me that he can look at me and tell that I have over 20 bodies. So he's not going to even ask me about my body count. So he's not going to ask me about my past or anything because he just knows. And he's okay with that. He's willing to lower his standard a little bit.
Drizzle, drizzle.
Wow.
The date from hell. And oh my God, were there any red flags when I was talking to him initially? No, he was really charismatic, very outgoing, very sure, which I think kind of snowballed into this forwardness, because what happens is when people are really charismatic and outgoing and they know what they want, they're very aggressive, and I guess they do the love bombing thing where you're so pretty, you're so smart. Oh my God, I've been looking for a woman like you. I can't wait for us to get to know each other better. Oh my God, And then they kind of do this little bait and switch where the niceness turns into rudeness. And I think that's what happened. And it was horrible.
A lot of ladies say, I want a rich man. I want a rich man to pay my bills. She got 2 kids. I'm sure she's thought that before as well. Until they meet a guy and they realize, let me tell you what she just realized. The man didn't get rich by chance. You see how he's speaking straightforward? He let you know himself. She didn't realize she hit the jackpot. The man is being open and honest with you. Yeah, he's rude. He's red pill as hell. But he's telling you the truth. You should have said, I don't want to get my body done. But he probably would have paid your bills. You could have been on Easy Street for a while. Right? If you knew how to go along to get along. And a lot of ladies aren't willing to do that. As you see, what does she tolerate? Most likely. I'm not saying I don't know if that's the case. But if it is the case, she most likely tolerated a man just putting babies in her. Which is not okay. The guy told the truth. I thought she would have had a great deal. That's just me though.
Mad at me is cheating husbands and wives, the ones that backdoor their spouse every chance they get. Once you start doing inappropriate things at work, it's no longer your business. It's everyone's business. I can't believe there's a group of cheaters in my inbox and in my comments threatening me. And y'all keep saying I should have minded my business. Y'all always saying mind y'all business until it's y'all. And the thing that did it for me is when it was Caitlin's birthday, her husband got her edible arrangements, flowers, chocolate delivered to work, all while she's in a 1-bedroom apartment doing Lord knows what with a doctor.
You can't make this up.
Stop marrying people and wasting their time. Stop going to work doing inappropriate things and you won't have to worry about somebody like me that will air everything out. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you don't want to be married, get a divorce and live your life. Stop wasting people's time. Stop belittling your spouse when you think they won't find out. Stop being sneaky and keep it 100.
This lady woke up and chose violence. Look, you see that look on her face? She's married, you can tell. Stop being like this. Stop being like that. I feel you. Shout out to the mountaintops. And you're right. And you just happen to be most likely one of the good nurses. Because the nurses and the doctors are cheating. The nurses are cheating with firemen, policemen, you know, the guys that come there on the regular. All kinds of guys. It's wild. And she couldn't take it no more. She's watching this going, I gotta say something. Let's get on to the next one.
And our wife work in the emergency room overnight, chances of them cheating on you is very high. Let me do a quick story time before I clock in. Most doctors and nurses sleep with each other overnight, and they really love the surgeons too. I never knew they had little one-bedroom apartments in hospitals until I started working there. I mean, almost every night, there's a nurse being caught sleeping with a doctor, and they don't get in trouble either. And to make matters worse, majority of them is married. And if it's usually the doctors that's married, but the little young nurses that come in with their tight scrubs, they be sleeping with y'all husband.
Ooh, someone's in trouble.
The nurses even be sleeping with the housekeepers, but the doctors don't touch the housekeepers because I guess they too good for all that. So if your husband or your wife work in the emergency room overnight, y'all might want to check those emails and text messages because they be in there up to no good. And if your wife wear the tightest scrub she can find on the rack every night to work, she's definitely cheating with a doctor. Wasn't expecting my last video to blow up like it did. One of the 3 nurses that's following me, and I'm almost sure it was Kate. Let me hold that thought. I'm meeting at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Let me do a quick little story time. One of them decided to send my video to HR, and my manager called me this morning demanding me to remove my video. I told her absolutely not. I did not disclose any names or locations, so why would I do that? Now I got a meeting at 3 o'clock. I'm here to tell them if they fire me or suspend, I will be dropping first and last name. Because ain't no way I got a meeting because I'm spreading awareness to the faithful husbands and wives out here that's not cheating. I'm about to say whatever I want to say on my page. They cannot take that away. This is something I experienced working there. So what? Why can't I talk about it?
Wow, that's wild. Coming from an upstanding citizen, I'm sure she's a wife herself, and it grinds her gears. She's sitting there watching it going,
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
I can't take this. I can't take this sitting down. I gotta say something about it. Let me expose it to the public. So that's what she's doing.
Says everything, take it in, and most importantly, speak to my attorney. They did let me go. They let me go because they said I have a large following and they did not want someone from the outside to come in and notice me and obviously know that this is the hospital that I'm talking about. Also told me if I release any names that I would be sued. Obviously, they seen my video before my meeting. I have so many followers. I lost track of everyone that's following me. I noticed the nurses was following me about 4 months ago, but I did not pay much attention to that or really didn't care. I've been receiving a lot of threats in my inbox, calling me snitches, saying they're happy I lost my job and I should have minded my business. Well, they made it my business when they brought it to the workplace. If they didn't bring it to work, it would not be my business. As far as them letting me go, I really don't care. I'm not a nurse, so I did not lose my license or any that. They just simply let me go. I did speak to my attorney and I do have a case, so I'll be moving forward with that. It's just exhausting being at work all night watching husbands and wives cheat. Don't nobody want to see that. Keep it
Wow.
at home if that's what you want to do, or simply leave your union and go out and cheat all day. Simple as that, but I'm not tripping on nothing. It is what it is. I was just telling y'all what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, take it or leave it.
Shout out to her. She did the right thing, man. I think she did the right thing. She's an outstanding citizen for what she did, and I commend her. And you'll go on to find something better. Your destiny is waiting around the corner. Because sitting there watching that, you shouldn't have been working in a field where the cheating is nonstop. You were working at the wrong place. You couldn't stand idly by and keep watching it happen. And I probably would have been the same way. Seriously. I'm a married man. I took some offense to it. Like, what are y'all girls doing? I probably would have minded my business because I am a man, but you know, it is what it is. It's sad because she was fired and she's a good person. More power to her.
Tapes of his late wife who passed away. So this man had a daughter with his late wife whose name was Eleanor. His 18th birthday is coming up in 2 weeks' time. Now, him and his late wife, let's call her Chloe, had been dating since they were in high school. Once they got older, they got married, and then she told him that she was pregnant with their first child. He was excited that they were expecting their first child. Since it was their first child, they agreed to buy a video camera and record little snippets here and there of her pregnancy. You know, clips of her joking around, just being excited to be a mom, talking to her unborn child, all of that stuff. He and Chloe made an agreement to only show these tapes to their daughter Eleanor on her 18th birthday. Fast forward 2 years later, after the birth, Chloe unfortunately passed away due to a drunk driver hitting her when she was driving home after visiting her mother. Now, he was devastated at the time, understandably, and he went into a very deep depression, all whilst having to raise their 2-year-old daughter at the time. Friends tried to get him out there to start dating again, but he just wasn't ready. Every time he tried, he felt like he was betraying Chloe. Fast forward years later, when Eleanor was now 13, he met a woman called Wendy at a gathering for his sister's birthday, and they immediately hit it off. Now, Wendy didn't mind that he had a daughter already because she had 2 kids herself, and she had just gone through a divorce. Now, 2 years after him and Wendy got married, Eleanor's 18th birthday was soon approaching, and he had kept all the tapes that he and his late wife had recorded for Eleanor. Remember that his late wife passed when Eleanor was 2 years old, so she doesn't have much to remember her mum by. Now, he was excited to show Eleanor these tapes, and he also spoke about it with Wendy, his wife. However, he noticed whenever he would speak about his late wife Chloe, Wendy would start looking a little bit uncomfortable and her whole facial expression would change. He made it clear that he only speaks about his late wife in a way to give his daughter a mental picture of what she was like. However, Wendy would express how she was feeling, that it made her upset when he would talk about his ex-wife Chloe. She felt like she was always comparing herself to Chloe, saying that she could never be like her. Chloe was a model working on her fashion career, while Wendy had 2 kids in college and wasn't in the best shape, her words used. He reminded Wendy that he does love her just the way that she is herself to Chloe. Anyway, the next day they made up after having this conversation. And Wendy followed up by asking where he kept the tapes. He showed Wendy where these tapes were in his closet. Things were all going fine until yesterday. He was looking for these tapes. He wanted to put them in a prettier box before he gave them to his daughter. However, when he was looking for it, he couldn't find it. So he went downstairs and asked Wendy if she knew where the box was. Wendy replied and said, "Oh, I threw it away," with a very neutral expression. His heart dropped. He said, "What do you mean you've thrown it away?" Wendy replied and said that he speaks about Chloe too much and it's time for him to move on. So she took it upon herself to throw it away as a head start for him. He was fuming because not only had she thrown away the only memories that he had of Chloe, she threw away his daughter's big surprise. They quickly got into an argument, but as soon as Wendy realized how angry he was, she kept apologizing. He got so upset and filled with emotions that he eventually started crying, and he went up to his bedroom and locked himself in there. Now, the following morning, he logs into his computer to see if he can find any old files or videotapes of his late wife that he can share with his daughter. He's his wife non-stop, but she's been texting him non-stop trying to apologize and saying how sorry she is. It's now getting to the point where their mutual friends are texting him to accept her apology and to get over it because his late wife died over 10 years ago. But he says he's ignoring them all because they've never had someone so close to them die unexpectedly. He's still working on finding some extra files that he might have, but he's starting to wonder if he's overreacting. He doesn't know what to do. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's touchy. It was 10 years ago, and he's still holding on. But is that right that she threw them away? I mean, you knew she was deep in his heart. She died unexpectedly. At least let the man keep the memory of her alive. Just because you're feeling jealous doesn't mean she's gonna come back and get a man some snatch. Like, come here, I'm the ghost. She's gonna give him the Holy Ghost, not the Holy Ghost, the unholy ghost, because there's no such thing as a person being alive in a past life. Just to let you guys know, what's dead is dead. But still, that's what she's acting like. She must believe in it. The ghost of Christmas past is not gonna come through on your man. Ghosts don't exist.
People have for the next 100 years, the number one challenge is the existential crisis of the black family. The existential crisis of the black family. Marriage in our culture is down to 34%. When we were growing up, it was 85%, is now down to 34%. 71% of our sisters are not married, 29% will never get married, 63% of our brothers are not married, 30% of them will never get married. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has risen to maximize their full human potential without family at the center of their culture. It only exists. This is an interesting but negative statistic. This phenomenon of the existential crisis of our family only exists among African American black people. It does not exist on the continent or anywhere else in the diaspora. So there must be something in the water. Fix this. It is a lot easier said than done because it is impacting our wealth. Quick statistics. For 350 years, household median income was dominated by white people. They were number one in this country. They no longer are number one, they're number three, and there's a reason for it. So, who has the highest household median wealth in America? It's East Indians, $104,000 a year. What's the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94% tool working. Who's number two? Chinese Asians. Household median income $110,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. Number three are white people. Median income $88,000 a year. What's the marriage rate? Almost 50%. Down significantly. Number four are Hispanics. Household median income $61,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. We are at the bottom. Household median income, $55,000 a year. Marriage rate, 34%. And projected, based on facts and statistics, that if we do not fix this, because white folks ain't fixing this, our marriage rate will be in the low teens in the next 20 years.
Wow.
This is an enormous challenge. That's a whole talk by itself on how do we fix it. It can be fixed, but we have to, first of all, understand that this is a problem. No one's talking about this problem. This is a huge problem. It's the number one problem in our culture.
I love what he's saying. How can we fix it when you have black women chasing money? How can we fix it when you have black women not wanting to get married? Even because most black women are with black men, but the black men aren't marrying them. They're having babies by them. This baby mama culture, like, that needs to be addressed. Like, I understand what he's doing and I respect it because he's at the front lines. But get all of on the front lines. Don't be on the front lines pointing the finger, right? Be on the front lines, getting out in the community, talking with the kids. Like, that's what has to be done. A lot of different mentalities have to be stopped. Also, what's been happening is a lot of people don't want to be with a black woman. It's sad. It is sad. But who did it? They did it to themselves. Nobody to blame but them. And yeah, you can say right now you got a war going on. They call it gender wars, but there's no war. There can't be a war. How is it a war when the other side is not even fighting? We're not fighting. We're pleading. We're begging and pleading. And like, what's coming up next? This speech that this girl is saying next is the problem.
In London with money. Let me correct this misconception. What it is we're seeing in this generation of millennials that a lot of the guys who have money are the younger guys. Like, younger guys definitely have more money now than the younger guys that I was in a generation.
Yeah, see, and I just want to touch on what I was just talking about. You know, woman, what money? She's big on that. Like, she is kind of like a female coach that pushes for women to get provided men, things like that. This is the issue. And who's following her? A bunch of sisters, actually white women too, but this is what's going on nowadays.
With 100%. So the thing is, when you're young and you've got money, you don't want to be responsible. You want a YOLO. So we will all know this batch of guys. Oh, guys, let me tell you something. The only thing worse than a young guy with money is a young guy with a batch of money men. You've all seen them. Drip, rollies out almost every weekend. Tables, bottles, little tennis, little AP. We've all seen them. We've all been out with them. Whoops. But they're not ready to settle down. They want to have the most enjoyment that they can have. Like, they want to live like rock stars. And I love it for them. But the problem is, if you are a woman who wants to move forward in life, in terms of with this man and building a relationship with this man, baby, he ain't settling down for a long time. So as a young man, you don't want to be in a relationship situation because that will limit your options, especially if you've got money. Because if you've got money, you're going to be thinking, well, all this money on one woman when you could have options, which is what men love. They're not doing it, ladies. Only few and far between men will do that in their prime. When they come out of their prime a little bit, it's a different story. But a man with money, there's a lot that comes with it. It's not just good times. Mama, he ain't settling down for a long time. So you've got to know in that time he's going to be doing stuff. He's going to be cheating on you. Baby, the outside, I'm telling you the truth. He's going to be cheating on you. He's going to be having his YOLO life. There's no reason for a man to go out every weekend, every other weekend in that close proximity. Let me not say that because the men are going to cancel me because I'm talking too much. But anyway, guys, that is why you're struggling to get a money man, because they just want to have fun right now. With their money, they want to enjoy it, they want to live it, and they see being a partner relationship a lot of times as boring, responsible. They don't want to do that. So yeah, good luck, babes. Good luck. Anyway, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you. Mwah.
Dating rich men. Why don't you start dating good men? Men that match your morals and values. Men that honor you. Men that are emotionally intelligent. Men that make you feel rich. Let me tell you one thing. I see everyone talking about rich men rich. We live in such a capitalistic society. It's even bleeding into us as humanity. From my experience, being rich or being with a man that's rich, baby, it is not the answer. The answer is you. The answer is within you. The answer is, what do you want? What do you desire? Because let me tell you one thing. When you're rich, you're going to make any man rich that comes across you. Been there, done that. So please stop dating rich. Date a good ass man. Date a good human. Date a good soul. Date a man that sees you, that loves you. Okay? And if he's rich, that's a plus.
Good talk. But are the masses hearing her? No. They're looking at her like, you pick me. Get out my face. You old pick me, man. They're going to tear her up. You old pick me. You feel like that because you old. You look old. Look at you. Wearing your little towel on your head. You an old lady. And you coming for money. We don't got no money. We need a man to pay our bills. And that's what it is. This lady probably does have money. She said I was rich and I took care of men. Like, and plus, men are only gonna want her. Talking like that, yeah, a man would deal with her. But still, ladies aren't listening. I love what you're saying, but they're not gonna follow.
They might be a little bit controversial, but it's the truth. I really feel as though some of you women are trying to run before you can walk when it comes to this whole relationship and dating. I feel as though your mindset is, oh, I want a rich man, I'm gonna date a millionaire and a billionaire. And to me, you're running, especially if you've always dated those type of men, then by all means, that's your standard, sis. But if you have never dated those men, if you've never even been in the presence of those men, like, I see some of these femininity coaches talking about how to get a man, and sis, I can tell that you ain't really about it, right? But anyway, every woman these days feels as if they're going to get that 1%. It's 1% for a reason. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that is out of reach. Like, by all means, like, who knows? Maybe you can rebrand yourself and work on yourself and be able to attract such a man. Indeed, it's definitely possible. I definitely believe that. But I feel as though straight off the bat, oh, I'm on my leveling up journey and I'm tired of dusties. How do I get a millionaire? How do I get a man to buy me things? How do I get...
Yeah, I love what you're doing. You're right. But why did you take a video with the towel on with your nipples poking? You did that purposely.
TikTok, of course.
To get more viewers. Shiesty.
Where do I go to find these men? No, you don't go nowhere. These men find you. Your energy attracts these men. These men just see you and know that you're that type of woman, and you become that type of woman by working on yourself. You become that woman by not operating from a place of desperation. I see a lot of women say things, and to me, it's coming from a place of desperation. And when you look desperate, people can see that, men can sense that, and you know what's gonna happen. The dusty men that you guys are trying to avoid are gonna come and love bomb you. They're gonna come and do sugar daddy things for you. And then they're going to abuse you. They're going to treat you horribly. They're going to break you. They're going to actually set you back on your journey because you haven't taken that time to crawl, to learn, to understand, to work on yourself, to love on yourself, so that you become unfazed, you become unbothered, so that you naturally attract that rich man. And now, can we also talk about rich men, ladies? Not everyone is going to marry the 1%. There is more women than there are men on this earth, and you might not be one of those women. I'm not saying it's not attainable, but you just may not be. So finding a guy who's making 6 figures, finding a guy who's gonna look after you, who has great morals, who is going to be the man you need him to be, who's gonna cater to you and love on you, and you guys are gonna bring up amazing children, is what should be your priority. Just find a good person and work on yourself. And if that person ends up being super, super rich, amazing, girl, you hit the bag. But let's just kind of learn to crawl and walk before we run.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of women do need to learn how to crawl, but you should have just said, don't try to get the rich man. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but most women aren't qualified. You may be somewhat qualified. You have the aesthetic, but the guys, they want choices. And they want choices like herself. Someone that's slim, someone that's fit, feminine friendly. That's what rich guys want. So if you're not feminine and friendly, don't go for the 1%.
As a woman with a lot of friends with men in finance, you don't date the man in finance. No. You date the man with no job. Hear me out. I always tell my friends, do not date a man with a job. We don't want the man with a job. You don't want the man in finance. They're stressed out. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing. They are not loyal. I have lots of friends in finance. All of them continuously single, and they're going up to their 40s. Okay? We want the man with no job. And when I say no job, it's because he has no one that he talks to. There's no one he needs to report to. He reports to himself because he is a self-made businessman. He has no job. No man in finance. We want a man with no job.
Now, that was the most conniving thing a woman can hear. But she's right. Because every lady says, oh, they want to get a rich guy. You want a guy with the freedom. But still, you know how hard that is? What kind of things you have to be doing? Because you have to be you have to be financially free. I mean, with finance, say if those guys wanted to retire, I'm sure they make enough money to just retire. But it may not be enough for them because they make so much. So that's another thing for another story. But still, she's right with what she's saying. And it's sad that this has to be the advice for the ladies. I wish the conversation would change. Really. It needs to change because you can't bring that where you're going. If you want to make it to the kingdom, all that money can't go with you. Of course, you could still make the bag. I mean, a lot of guys in the Bible, they were rich too. So, yes, there are ways to get the bag. So, figure out how to keep a man happy. And that's really it. As long as your bills are paid, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
One thing that I've come to learn is that when a man really loves you or really is invested in you, he will invest in you. That means whether you have a dream, whether you have a goal, a business idea, he will invest in you. If he has clout, he has connections, he will help you. He will put you in the right circles, will get you in contact with the right people to help you to become your best self, to make sure that you are successful within your own right. A man who's not trying to do these things for you, sis, he don't like you. He really don't like you. Because a man who likes you is going to do this for you. He's going to want you to be a boss babe in your own right.
It's delusional.
Look at Real Housewives of Dubai, right? We have Lisa Milan and her husband Rich. She met her husband here in Miami. She moved to Dubai. She became a wife. She became a mom. And maybe, let's say, for the first few years, whilst her kids were young, she focused solely on being a mom. She then said she wanted to start her own business. She's very passionate about clothing. That was her thing. Her husband invested in her. He even said he didn't believe in her dream, but because he loves her, he invested in her dreams. Now, her company is worth millions, six figures, I don't know. But
I gotta stop right there. As soon as she said Housewives of Dubai, she lost me. I'll tell you why. I tuned out. Because you're telling women to do things that they can't attain. And that was her who just said that you, like a lot of women, this was her here, who said, you're not going to marry the 1%. That was just her in the video before the last one. And then now she's saying, get the Housewives of Dubai. Like the Housewives of Dubai. You're not going to meet that man. You know how hard that man is to meet? Most ladies aren't going to meet them. Most ladies aren't qualified. You may not even have a chance to meet that guy unless you're in those circles. That's the thing. Women have to be in the circles. If you know how to help certain women get in the circles, let them know. Because other than that, they're never going to meet them. And you see this talk all over the internet, but it's never going to happen. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. See you next video.